Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Project B. Y'all remember Project B? It was going to be another one of those leagues that completely destroys the WNBA, and huge splashy announcement, big salaries. I think Sophie Cunningham, I can't remember if she officially signed or she was talking about signing. I don't remember now. And then absolute silence for a long time. And now we get a WNBA CBA. We get a league that is expanding into more games, and it will be doing so in the fall, which would conflict with Project B. And then nothing. We haven't heard a peep about Project B, but now we have a splashy move. Supposedly, Project B lands projected top WNBA pick moves start to December. Why did they move the start to December? I am so glad that you asked. Because, like I just mentioned, WNBA is moved back its season. The league announced a deal with Spanish forward Awa Pham on Wednesday. Now, when you hear top WNBA pick, and this is nothing against Awa, but you're probably thinking someone like, I don't know, Lauren Betts, Azzy Fudd, someone like that, a name that you more likely are going to recognize. But no, it is not one of them. So here's the thing. I'm going to get to it. Let's dig into this a little bit. Project B's rollout started with WNBA stars. Yes. Oh, that's right. NECA signed, right? Alyssa Thomas, John Cole Jones, Jewel Lloyd. Doesn't mention Sophie, so I can't remember if Sophie was thinking of playing. Let me know in the comments. I could have sworn she signed. She has the potential to be the next global superstar. Project B co-founder and chief basketball officer Alana Beard told Front Office Sports, a lot of people don't know her because she is in Spain, but I can tell you just from my impressions of her, she's going to surprise a lot of people. Details of Pham's contract were not disclosed, but FOS has previously reported the league was offering WNBA stars multi-million-dollar salaries. Project B's roster is now at 13 announced players. Oh, maybe we'll get it here. Yep, there it is, including other signees like Sky Ford, Camila Cardoso, Fever Guards, Kelsey Mitchell, and Sophie Cunningham. I forgot about Kelsey. And New York Liberty forward Leone Fibich. Now, here's the thing. I wonder if those players have any second thoughts. I don't know how binding their contracts are. One thing I had always said that the WNBA should do, and apparently it is not, which to me means it's not quite at that we're a truly professional sports organization yet. Because if it were, and the salaries now justify it, no, they're not making the kind of money that it's going to allow them to play and then never have to work again after their career. But I don't think athletes should. I don't think there's any reason someone should get to retire at 30 or 35 and never have to work again because they have too much money. I mean, go be productive. But my point being, the WNBA should not be allowing this, right? Now, UFL players may very well, trying to make the NFL and that sort of thing, but a competitor to the NFL, if it were to launch, and I mean a true competitor, right? NFL players are not playing in it now. Most of them wouldn't want to, of course, but the league also wouldn't allow it. The WNBA should not allow it. And then my other thing is those players that we mentioned, NECA, Kelsey, Jewel, the WNBA season now going into November, right? Into November, I think November 21st, it has to be finished by. And then Project B starting in December. I wonder if these players are thinking, maybe that's not something we should be doing. Maybe with the money we're making now, an off season to rest, recover, and I don't know, work on your game to get better, to justify those salaries and keep people watching. Maybe that is a better decision as a player than what we have going on with playing in multiple leagues. And it'll also be very interesting to see how this affects Unrivaled. I know the money is tempting, but again, let's leave it for the top players, right? Let's say if you're a player now in the WNBA and you're making 5, 6, 7, 800, 900,000, $1 million a season, are you thinking, yeah, I'm going to go play in Unrivaled for another couple $100,000? Or are you thinking, I want to maximize my value in the WNBA? I want to get my rest in the off season. I don't want to risk injury. I don't want to risk burnout. I want to be in control of my training and my development in the offseason to get better, to be a better player in the WNBA, which could lead to even bigger contract for the next contract I sign, not to mention outside endorsements as the league continues to grow and gets more visibility, and more players are going to get more and bigger opportunities with bigger corporations and so forth, and doing national commercials as opposed to just local stuff, which of course is going to pay more money. But let's dig into this a little more for a reminder for everyone how this is working. The league, 6 teams of 11 players in its first season. The start date first expected to be November. Right now, obviously, they're moving it because the WNBA will actually be December, according to sources familiar with the league's business operations. Since the WNBA CBA was finalized, questions have swirled around the potential conflict between the WNBA's end of season and the beginning of Project B's, the last possible end date for 2026 for the WNBA, November 21st. In 2028, it will be November 30th. So again, go back to this for a second. You're gearing up for your season now, right? Training camp is later this month. Preseason games start in May. You may play all the way to November. Now, if you're not in the playoffs, and I don't know, maybe mid-October, do you really then want to turn around and just jump right into an entirely new professional basketball season? Do you want your body to do that? Do you want to do that mentally? So, so it's going to be interesting to see what Project B does, but also if they're able to attract more top talent now that the CBA has been finalized. You might have players that haven't signed yet, but they're thinking about it. They wanted to see what goes on with the CBA. And now they're looking and like, okay, well, I was making, 105,000 last year. Maybe this is right after free agency. I just signed for, 525,000 this year. Why don't the season's longer? Why do I need to go put my body through that abuse for some more money? Now, of course, you might have others who just want to get as much as absolutely possible now, and they could end up shortening their season, whether it's because of injury or just, wear and tear or abuse or so forth. But anyway, Beard, who was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year and WNBA champion, commended the standards set by the WNBA and its players with the new deal. She said Project B's goal is to be additive and collaborative within the women's basketball ecosystem. We have flexibility, and we're really happy with how we're positioned in the space. Now, for me, and I've said this before, and this is what I want to kind of wrap up with, whether it's Unrivaled or it's, what is it, AU, Athletes Unlimited, right, which I think is, Athletes Unlimited, which is 5v5. Maybe it's Project B, but one of these leagues should be played concurrently with the WNBA now. I'm not sure how that works financially in terms of feasibility for them, but I'm thinking in terms of the growth of the WNBA and getting in more fans and making the product better. It should be a developmental league, just the way the G League is for the NBA, right? Project B, places like that, if they don't change Unrivaled, they should be places where players who still have a shot with the WNBA, maybe they're not on a team now, those are the players that should be playing. Now, I know that probably changes, say, viewership and all of that and money and so forth. Maybe the salaries come down, but they should find out a way to make at least one of those leagues a developmental league, right? So that would be somewhere. Let's look at the Fever. That would have been somewhere where Ariel Powers, Ari McDonald, Odyssey Sims, where these players could actively be playing during the WNBA season instead of being signed off the street because they're sitting at home, working a job they don't really want to work in order to pay the bills while they hope to get called in for a contract. That odd feeling of, well, I don't really hope anyone gets hurt, but I kind of hope someone in the WNBA gets hurt. You know what I mean? Anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this, especially the developmental league stuff. I'm really curious. Smash the like button, subscribe, go of the day you deserve 19. You know the drill. I will talk to y'all later.